Thank you very much for joining us on this special right to food debate, or the politics of food as we are calling it. I'm going to position this debate as the politics of food. And I'm going to start by throwing a proposition at all my guests, which is just as we talk of the right to free speech, we should have the freedom to eat. So I must have the right to eat what I want, whether it's beef, pork, vegetarian. Dare I say, if I'm in Nagaland, I can have dog meat. I must be allowed to eat whatever is essentially edible according to me. And I'm going to throw that at all four of you, starting with you, Ms. Dasgupta. And as the owner of one of Kolkata's most prestigious restaurants, do you agree that the right to food is absolute? Anyone should be allowed to eat whatever he or she wants without any government intervention. There cannot be restrictions on beef, pork, any form of meat.
I agree totally. And the reason I do that is food is also a form of expression. What food I eat is a part of me. And therefore, we have different types of cuisine throughout India. We can base it on where we come from. So some parts will not eat a certain kind of food. Some parts will eat a certain kind of food. Some people love their pork. Some people don't have pork. Some people eat beef. Some people don't. Some people hate fish, where we love fish. So it goes on and on. So I don't see any reason why a government should tell us what to do.
Why don't you serve beef or pork at Kewpie's kitchen?
Well, because the kind of food from Bengal I give does not have pork and beef. If I was doing Anglo-Indian food or a different type of food, I would definitely give it. But since I don't do that, and I'm traditional Bengali, I will not serve pork and beef. Even I may have it at my home, but I will not serve it in the restaurant. It doesn't go with the kind of traditional.
So the reason you don't have beef, you're not serving beef, is because you're saying it doesn't go with the restaurant.
Right.
Pradyot, in your hotel in Shillong, do you serve all kinds of meat?
No, we are very sensitive to certain demands. But serving of food is extremely different from what anyone can have in their personal space. I think that was what your original question was. And we are in the East. And for once, at least I can say that East does not belong to one culture. So we love our pork. Some of them love their beef. Some people eat mithun meat in Arunachal and parts of Nagaland. Some people love fish, especially in Assam, Bengal, and even parts of Tripura, we love dry fish. Manipuris have an exquisite vegetarian cuisine, which is at par with the best in the country. So I don't think that the government has any job entering our kitchens. The government may tell us, be sensitive in how you slaughter an animal, because we worship them. But you cannot say that this should not be prepared, and this is an intrusion in your private space.
It's interesting that a congressman is saying this, because the truth is that the Congress party was the one which also pushed laws against cow slaughter in the 1960s. It was your chief minister in 1960, Sampuranand in Uttar Pradesh, who actually took on Nehru and insisted that there would be rules against cow slaughter. So are you saying that the Congress party, if it were to ever come back to power, would ensure that the right to food was absolute?
See, I don't speak entirely for the Congress party. I have not become that big yet. But it's also well understood that a committee was constituted in the 60s, which had members from the RSS. And it was to discuss if cow slaughter or cow ban should be complete or not. That committee only met twice, and there was no interest taken. So, as you said, former chief ministers, individuals in the individual capacity, may have taken on Nehru, may have taken on Indira Gandhi. But the fact is that the Congress, the party which I know of, has never tried to infringe in your kitchen. And there may have been figures who have tried to impose it in a personal capacity for their personal community or caste-based vote. But as a party, I think we are far less intrusive than what you see right now in the center.
So it's a question of, at times it's a question of grading you. You're saying it almost seems to be that the BJP, when it does it, it's a collective. When the Congress does it, it's individuals who do it. There's no party ideology which tells you to enter people's kitchen.
Since we have a lot of critics for Congress, we are anyway considered to be an individual-based party, right? So we can't have it both ways.
Okay.
So criticism can't be that, oh, we think it collectively, because we're always accused of being individual, while BJP is never about an individual, it's about an ideology. The problem with ideologies are you force it upon people who may not necessarily subscribe completely to it.
Aurintro, do you believe that there can be a food ideology in this country? There's a mic next to you. Is there a food ideology which says that there are certain types of food that are unacceptable? We are a Hindu country. Hindus revere the cow. Therefore, you must not eat meat, serve beef or eat beef.
First of all, I don't think the issue is about beef alone. There's a whole lot of food, as both of them have pointed out. There's all kinds of food that you can eat. A member of my family wrote a book called Eat My Globe, and I'm trying to follow in his footsteps. So variety is good. The only issue about what you eat is that it should be hygienic. Beyond that, what you cook or eat in your own kitchen, in your own home, is nobody else's business. If you've got friends over, then you might, as an individual, as a sensitive individual, you might make some allowances for their beliefs or their sensibilities. But what you're eating and what you're cooking in the privacy of your own home is absolutely nobody else's business.
But then why is it that five-star hotels, including some in Kolkata today, don't have beef on the menu? Is this about sensitivities? Is there a culture which is being built where people are thinking twice now before putting beef on their menu?
I think your information is not quite correct. Maybe you could join me for a steak downstairs after this.
No, this hotel may have it. But there are enough hotels in Kolkata today, in Mumbai, for example, in particular.
Mumbai, maybe.
Sorry?
But in Kolkata, we call it tenderloin.
No, are you saying that Mumbai is different to Kolkata?
Oh,
in
definitely.
Kolkata, are you telling me no hotel in Kolkata, no five-star hotel in Kolkata will not serve me beef?
Excuse me,
Depends if it's
I
on the
think
menu.
you're taking on more people than you know. You can't say that Mumbai is the same as Kolkata. There's 150 people who will jump on you right
It's
now.
not, Bombay is definitely different from Kolkata. Kolkata, we allowed cow slaughter. We've eaten our beef. So we don't mind it. We don't go after people for eating beef.
Is that true with this audience, that in Kolkata you can have, is beef served on the menu everywhere? Everywhere?
Can we have a loud cheer for that?
A
Can we have a loud cheer for that?
Question, Rajdeep.
Hold on.
Do you eat beef yourself?
No, it's not about embargo. There is no state embargo, as Mamata Banerjee told us yesterday. But there are individual restaurants and hotels that are putting restrictions, keeping in mind the sensitivities of the people. Yes or no?
There is, definitely.
There is.
But there is beef allowed in the city without being whipped or whatever, lynched. Okay? So, unlike many cities, including Delhi and Bombay and maybe Bangalore now.
No, you told me before the program that Nizams used to have a beef roll many
Yes.
years
You can
ago.
get it next
but
door
it's
in
changed
Bihar.
hands.
Which has been
They've
stopped.
divided into two establishments now.
Yes.
There's
Bihar.
Nizam's, which does not serve beef. There's Bihar next door, which serves beef.
That's
You
what I
take
was
your
telling
choice.
you.
The choice essentially is ours. It's not imposed on us.
I have to come in to
Yes.
prove this point.
Yes.
I represent the sweetest thing in the sweetest part of India.
Nobody has any objection to the Rasgulla. Everybody accepts the Rasgulla.
There was. I'll tell you. In Manusmriti, that is the history I'm sharing. In Manusmriti, it was said that you cannot divide milk. Means cuddle milk was not accepted in Hindu rituals. And Bengali, being a Biddohi Jat, we call it, revolutionary race, we accept everything. We accepted chena. We were the first to make sweets out of chena and to offer it in Kalighat. And remember, there was no sweets other than khoa was allowed in Kalighat, but chena sweets were accepted later on, and chena sweets were accepted everywhere else, and to Odisha even. after that. So we are a Bidrohi Jat, we accept all kind of food. The choice is ours. Just the Aritiji said, being a Bengali sweet shop, we don't even allow onion garlic inside our kitchen or in the shop room. But as I eat all types of meat, I go to China, I go to Thailand, I eat snakes, I eat frogs, I eat every kind of food, scallops to everything I've eaten. But of course not beef because of another reason.
I second that. I'm working my way up to ostrich and alligator.
Yeah.
You're working your way to ostrich and...
That is in my list also.
So what if somebody tomorrow came to you, what if there was a BJP government tomorrow in Bengal, which said that, if tomorrow a BJP government comes to Bengal and says, we are going to follow the rules here that we have put in place in other BJP ruled states, what will happen?
No, I'm supposed to be apolitical because I'm a civil servant. However, if it is a government's election platform that they won't let me eat what I want, I wouldn't vote for them.
BJP will change, Bengalis will not.
You're saying that you will not vote for a government that tells you what you have to eat.
Absolutely.
Right? The government's job is not in your kitchen. Essentially is what you're suggesting. Yes.
Not in my kitchen, not in what I see in the film, what I read, not anywhere which is private to me.
But we are coming back to cultural sensitivities. There are religious cultural sensitivities. You come from a state with a large tribal population. Now, tribal communities in the Northeast have very distinct traditions that go from state to state. You had an Asauddin Owaisi, for example, when the beef ban was put in place, questioned the BJP, saying beef is mummy in the rest of the country, but it is yummy in the Northeast. Do you believe that those tribal traditions must be kept in mind when we try and frame some kind of a national food policy as is being attempted, or even a statewide food policy as some governments would like?
So I'd like to give you an answer in two parts. First, what he said he won't vote for BJP if they came and...
No, he didn't say he wouldn't vote for BJP.
If they tried to impose...
He said he wouldn't vote for any government that told him what to eat.
Party.
Any party that told him that put restrictions.
Next thing they'd be telling me whom I could marry.
Well, it's the same thing is happening with marriage as well.
Well, there is love jihad.
There's love jihad, ghar wapsi.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is that the BJP has had this experiment in Arunachal, where they are in government, and the Home Minister is on record saying that he loves eating beef. So the hypocrisy of the BJP saying that they will impose food ban in, let's say, a state like Bengal, while not doing it in the state where they are in power, where the Home Minister of India says that he loves eating beef in Arunachal Pradesh, comes down to Delhi and says, nahi, ye nahi chalega. This is a hypocrisy. This is to attempt to consolidate a small voter base and turn them into a herd mentality.
But hold on, Pradyot. We had Meenakshi Lekhi at the conclave earlier today, who said that the hypocrisy is also of the Congress, that their leader Rahul Gandhi goes to temples and at the same time...
Those two boys...
No, 1 minute. At the same time is someone who is going to probably eat a beef steak. So there will be question marks that if you're a true Hindu, then why are you going to temples?
Who is the true Hindu?
Can I say something? I saw Meenakshi Lekhi here with a handbag which is made out of cow leather. Okay? So let's not even talk about hypocrisy. And second, if Rahul Gandhi wants to eat pork, beef, wants to eat paneer, that's his personal choice. His political career should not be judged on what he eats, but what he speaks. This is a red herring. There are far bigger important issues in the year 2017 than what we are eating and what we are not eating. And frankly, we cannot respond to every lie a person presents.
People are killing in this country in the name of the cow.
Can I just...
People from one political party are killing, or one ideology are killing people in this country for an animal. So let's not say that all these people represent Trinamool, AAP, or a common professional, or a Congress party. People linked to one political ideology are killing people in the name of the cow.
Am I to understand, Aritro, therefore there would be...
My name's not Anindra, my name's Atri.
Atri, there would be nothing quite like... There would be nothing quite like a Gau Rakshak allowed in a Bengal.
We have
Are you
fringe
saying
gentlemen.
that in the rest of the country, Gaurakshaks are officially allowed?
No, there are cow vigilantes. There are cow vigilantes. There are cow vigilantes who have the sanction of governments. There are cow vigilantes.
Hold on. As a government servant, I go by the rules, right? So are you telling me that it's only in Bengal that there are no rules preventing killing of people in the name of cows, and that in the rest of the country there are specific rules that say if somebody kills in the name of cows, that's allowed? Is that what you're saying?
There have been no Gaurakshak related killings in Bengal. There have been Gaurakshak killings in neighboring Jharkhand and in other parts. I am asking you,
Okay, so
is there something unique about Bengal?
What you're saying is that there are specific law and order problems in the rest of the state that are not replicated in Bengal. Is that what you're saying? I accept what you're saying.
I'm asking you whether Gaurakshaks would have any traction in Bengal. Those who spoke the language of Gaurakshaks, would they have traction in Bengal?
Well, I haven't seen them so far. You bring me a couple, I'll see how I deal with them.
Okay. Rakhi, somewhere is there also this belief? Thank you very much for joining us, ma'am, on the program. But I just want to understand from you that when you set up this restaurant of yours, was your intention to sort of finally get the Bengali palate mainstream? There was a sense that the Bengalis didn't have restaurants like, let's say, the South Indians had built restaurant chains across the country. Was your aim with Kewpie's Kitchen to create the idea of a Bengali palate at last?
We always had a palate.
But not publicly.
Yes, maybe because we felt that our food was in such a way and in so many courses that it was very difficult to actually eat it in a restaurant. And we did have the Pice hotels, we had PLSN before I came, there was Shuruchi. But we tried to do it in a way that would introduce Bengali food to the wider public. And people already enjoyed Bengali food at people's homes. So it was a way to bring them out of the home and have it as in a public space. Unfortunately, I won't say it's a public space because when you eat at Kewpie's, you actually eat in my home.
Okay, because for the longest time, there was a feeling that fish in particular was the kind of meat which may not sell, which would not attract a unique clientele in the world of butter chicken on one side and idlis and dosas on the other. But over time, do you believe that Indians have shed that inhibition? A lot of Indians felt they didn't like fish because it was dry and stinky. There was a sort of sense that fish was, in public places, fish was smelly. Unless you lived along the coastal parts of this country. In Mumbai, you won't say that, but in other parts, they would. Do you believe that's changed again?
Absolutely, and more so for health reasons. People are seeing that fish gives you omega-3, it helps you in various forms. Meat is heaty, it gives you many more problems in digestion and stuff like that. So fish is definitely a better protein to intake.
Moubani Sorcar, as someone who's just joined the debate, I'm going to ask you also, do you believe that the right to food is absolute, the freedom to eat is absolute? Everyone must have the right to eat what he or she wants, particularly in their own kitchens.
What I staunchly believe, firstly, good afternoon to everybody. I'm really sorry for my delay, but
that's okay.
What I honestly feel is that food is something extremely vital, and what you eat is what you become. And in today's world, when we find so much of complexities and so many different types of cultures, so many new ways to be, you have a lot of choices. You can actually choose to become what you become. So being a Bengali is also a choice. I believe that if you are living in San Francisco and you choose to become a Bengali, it's very much possible because it's all here. So what I feel that it is how you relate to your Bengali soul, whether you eat the right kind of Bengali food, whether you are a Bengali at heart, which really matters, because today I might be traveling, I might be settling elsewhere, but that doesn't make me any less Bengali. Because if my heart is in Bengal, if I want to promote Bengal, if I love Bengal, my husband might be living
Is-
somewhere else, or my father might be living somewhere else, but if you don't love your father any less.
Is fish an intrinsic part of the Bengali soul? Can there be a Bengal? Can you be a good Bengali and not like fish?
I truly believe that you have to be a Bheto Bangali and a Mecho Bheto Bangali to be a true Bengali. I think fish is essentially a part of who we are, because I feel Bengali women are very beautiful, and I think they owe their beauty to fish, because I
Really?
totally feel so.
Bengali women owe their beauty to fish. The rest of the world thought that fish was good for the mind. First time I'm hearing that fish is good for beauty.
For the hair, for your complexion.
Really?
Yeah.
And eyes
Very
too.
much so.
Well, I don't know about the cause and effect correlation, but I agree with her that Bengali women are beautiful.
Okay, no, hold on. You see, inside out, I see. But again,
Both ways, yeah.
Again, it's
I
coming
totally
then, there's a sense of, it's often been said, the problem or the Bengalis have a sense of Bengali exceptionalism. They believe that when you talk of poetry, you must talk of Tagore. When you talk of cinema, you must talk of Satyajit Ray. Even when you talk of cricket, you must first start with Saurabh. In that sense, even with their food, the Bengalis believe that your fish is much better than the food cooked in our coastal parts of Maharashtra. The hilsa is a supreme fish compared to a pomfret. Am I to understand that the Bengalis, by their nature, are arrogant about their food?
No, we are not. I'll tell you how we go about it. We don't look at, establishing an empire. We don't fight them, we just join them. So, dosa, you'll find about 5,000 joints in Calcutta, right? Biryani, which was Awadhi, is now the staple food of Bengal. You'll find it in Digha, you'll find it in Darjeeling. So we're not arrogant, we're just inclusive.
Chana was
Yeah.
for
What about
cheese
chow?
of Dutch.
And I also feel that India at large is a very accepting country. I mean, the acceptance which India shows to the world or any other religion is amazing.
No, hold on.
And,
Hold on.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to just stop you there because in Mumbai, for example,
Yeah.
Wrongly
there
said
are buildings.
India.
There are
It was
buildings.
Bengal.
There are buildings in Mumbai which are Jain societies where you cannot even have onion and garlic if you want to live in that building. Is India really accepting? There are neighborhoods today where if a Muslim family comes into the neighborhood, there may be those who may not be as accepting. Have we changed? Maybe we were accepting. But even when it comes to basic food habits, have we become increasingly insular, far from being inclusive?
Try me.
You're an exception.
No, she wanted to say Bengal, not India.
Yes, exactly. I would relate Bengal in this way, because I feel that we had a capital of India in Kolkata or Calcutta at one point of time. There must have been some reason to it. Firstly, that might be a subtle cause where I can put that maybe the Bengalis, when they take afternoon naps, and it's almost like the Spanish siesta. They're very laid-back people. They don't really impose their culture on others, which makes it so much more enriching for people to envelop, or rather absorb, the goodness of others. Because I believe that if you're protesting and if
So
you
you're
want to
saying
be...
Bengalis, when it comes to food, are truly inclusive.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you'll have
Absolutely.
And I
Including food. I didn't limit the argument to food alone.
Okay, so you don't agree with my sort of proposition that there is this Bengali exceptionalism that believes that poetry stems from Tagore, that food will stem from a Kewpie's kitchen, that films will...
I must confess, I know about as much Gulzar as I know Tagore.
Can I say something here?
But tell me, even when it comes to sweets, for example,
Exactly.
you had this huge battle over getting GI.
Yeah.
And you seem to have put down the Odiyas. It's almost as if the Odiyas have no right over the Rasgulla.
I'll just
Did we say that?
I'll
It's
just say
theirs
something.
as well as ours, except that we've got the official recognition.
I'll just say something about that. We never applied for Rasgulla. We applied for Bengal Rasgulla. We are happy with what we have. The white, succulent, spongy Rasgulla. That was Bengali recipe. And we opted for the GI for Bengali Rasgulla. And that was the reason we got it so fast. And thanks to Ms. Mamata Banerjee and I forgot. Department joined to ICOT and his team. Special thanks to him, and that we fought for the Bengal Rasgulla and we got it.
Why were you fighting for the Bengali Rasgulla? If you're so confident of your culture, why do you need to fight for it?
No, not fight. It is
Hold on, let me
it's
say.
in the court.
I work in tourism, right? Yeah. So, things, branding is important.
Exactly.
It's a commercial issue. It is not a political issue.
Absolutely.
It's not an issue of identity. It's a commercial issue. So, Bengal Rasgulla is a brand from Bengal. You're free to have your own Rasgulla. It's just not Bengal Rasgulla.
Just like champagne.
Are you saying that the Bengali Rasgulla is superior to the Odia Rasgulla? Are you really saying that?
Have I said
it's different?
Have I said
I'm asking
it's
you.
superior?
Different. It's
I'm
different.
asking you.
Superior in what sense?
Is it superior in taste?
Look, I love it. Most of the people here love it. If you don't like it, that's your opinion. I won't fiddle with it.
No,
See,
it's texture.
Yes.
It's different in texture. It's sponge Rasgulla vis-a-vis a more solid, which is Orissa.
Odia Rasgulla
So
was basic.
both of them taste good. One is different. That's all.
No, in your attempt, see, this is where I come from. The politics comes in here. In your attempt to be distinctive, the Bengali has tried to make the hills. It's as if the hilsa can only be made in this part of the world.
But you do have Darjeeling
The
tea more
Sindhis make
readily than
hilsa.
anything
Sindhis have
else.
hilsa.
You choose that. So.
Yes?
Yes, I feel that you choose what you eat. And if you see the palate, then when it comes to sweet, then even in India, I think the rasgulla is a very important Indian sweet dish, which we love. We all love it. But if I may proceed, I think the geographical boundary of Bengal, as we see it now, was far wider before. We have our different boundaries now, and we have, we get more practical and then we put boundaries. But Bengal was a very, very wide zone. So if I come to spread out the culture and the original culture of the Bengalis, so you cannot really typify or really put it into a box. So automatically, I think the people of Orissa are also wonderful people who love Bengalis. In fact, my Guruji, who has taught me Odissi dance, and I have specialized it, I used to ask him, how do Bengalis relate to such art forms so easily, so much from their heart, when culturally there are borders, there are political barriers, there are so many things taking us apart. But originally, I believe that it is your heart and your sentiment which makes you come together.
No, I appreciate that. But is that changing? Pradyot, in today's world, you're a politician today. Are politicians using food as a political weapon? That today, whether you like it or not, what you eat has become a political weapon. If you want to be a good, true Hindu, and you are a Hindu from Tripura, from the royal family of Tripura, are you expected in a sense to perhaps have a particular food palate?
So I'm in the minority here, first of all, with a caveat. I'm the only non-Bengali in this debate.
Right.
I'm also the only politician. Yeah.
No, the Bengalis will make you from Tripura an honorary Bengali and say we are taking over Tripura.
Which has already happened.
Which has already happened.
But what I'm trying to say is also, I'm also the minority because I'm the only politician. But let me say something which I have found fascinating about Bengali culture, though I've never practically stayed in Bengal, is that when they came to the Northeast, we are tribals, we love our pork, we love our dry fish, we love our bamboo shoot. I've seen the Bengali cuisine expand. And so when we speak about, he's an example. You're an example. You're talking about biryani and rolls from Nizam. So that means Bengalis by nature tend to accept and own, as you said, halfway exclusiveness, tend to own anything they find tasty. And then they improvise to their own taste and palate, which is something very uniquely Bengali, which I haven't seen it with largely other communities. So I would think that the Bengali society is very inclusive that way.
Is there a divide in Tripura over food today? Are there sharp divides in Tripura over food?
Actually, if there is only unity in Tripura between the indigenous people of Tripura and largely the Bengali people, it is that they both hate demonetization and they both love each other's food. So I think there is a lot of unity. In fact, why only Tripura? We love the Naga food. We love the food in Meghalaya. And there is a lot more cohesion even amongst different tribes in the Northeast. See, if you go to Delhi or to Bombay, you don't meet in a Naga restaurant or an Arunachali restaurant or a Tripuri restaurant or a Khasi restaurant. You meet in a Northeastern restaurant. So there's a new identity which has come about, which is largely based on cuisine. And coming to a politician and saying that I'm a political family, need I eat beef, need I not eat beef? Well, the day my electability will depend not on what my vision is about the state, but on what I eat in my private capacity, I would think I'm in the wrong profession.
Are you a beef eater, if I may ask? Do you eat beef?
About to get claps here.
Do you eat beef?
No, I've never eaten beef, but my friends and anyone who wants to eat beef, my sisters have had beef, I've never had beef. But as an Hindu, my dharma is also never to object to anyone what he or she eats in a private space.
Okay, now if I can
And
just take off.
as I said, let me again say it. If my electability depends on what I eat and not what work and what development I can bring to my state, I'm already in the wrong profession.
No, my worry is politicians. I saw Derek O'Brien today at lunchtime having a beef steak.
I thought it was mutton.
Right? Now, if he was in some other party, would he be as open about eating beef even though he was a non-vegetarian? I wonder. So I'm just wondering. Sorry?
Just one party.
But that's why he joined the Trinamool Congress, presumably, because it guarantees him his right to food.
Also, I don't think Trinamool's emphasis is on what he eats, but what he can bring to Bengal.
But the Congress party, on the other hand, would perhaps want its leaders, at least in public gatherings, not to be seen to be eating beef today. Yes or no?
Well, I've seen all the leaders, especially from Northeast, who are Christians, eating beef, and there's been no embargo. I've seen BJP leaders from the Northeast and from Kerala who eat beef, and I don't see BJP going hammers and tongs because they understand that's a regional diet. Same way, I've seen Brahmins who are from the East eat mutton and fish. While the same Brahmin, if you even have meat in front of them in Varanasi or Mathura or some other part of India from the Gangetic plain, they would say, "Chhu chhu, nikal jao yahan se." So the fact is that diet is a regional thing. And the problem is, she said something very nice. She said, the heart is accepting. The problem is the heart right now, which is telling us what to eat and what not to eat, comes from Nagpur and does not necessarily reflect the entire Indian ethos.
Okay. I'm trying to also understand whether there are caste divides. Certainly in Bengal, they don't seem to exist. The Bengali Bhadralok, the Brahmins also love their kosha mangsho. In a sense, there are no food dietary restrictions.
I can even make you a mean pork vindaloo.
You can make a mean pork vindaloo?
Anytime you want.
What else do you... I'm just trying to understand, is Bengal unique? Or is Bengal representative of the regional diversity of this country? Because we are so diverse, you believe that if you look across the East, you go to a Jha wedding in Bihar, you will always get meat.
If you give me 2 minutes,
yes.
You mentioned the politics of food and empowerment. Now, when you say whether Bengal is different or not, I think it shares one concern with the entire country. And I'll just take 2 minutes to give you a background. There was a man whom I idolized when I read his autobiography at the age of 10. It was called My Early Years. And I grew up thinking that he's a great guy. Then around the time I was 22, 25, I realized that he was responsible for the death of at least 3 million Indians. This was Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill, and he caused the Great Bengal famine, and I loathe him thereafter. So the basic concern is not what you eat. The basic concern that Bengal shares is that everybody should have enough to eat. That is number one.
And can I say this? Because
yes.
We're talking about beef and meat and fish. What about the poverty in our country? Why aren't we addressing it? Why aren't the politicians addressing the main focus that people are still going hungry in our country? And instead of saying that you shouldn't eat it.
You don't think vegetarianism is good then?
Of course it's good.
Is it not good to promote a vegetarian diet?
Why not? There's nothing wrong in it.
You can promote, but you cannot force to eat.
You can't impose.
Thing.
You can always promote. You can always promote
just
healthy
promote
diet.
Enough food. Just make sure, if the only food available is vegetarian, fine, that's good. Just first make sure that there's enough to go around before you start fighting over what goes around.
Yes, ma'am.
I think health is no choice these days with the amount of stress and hectic lifestyle which we have to put up with. At this moment, we have the internet bullying us, we have our cell phones bullying us, we have our regular work schedule bullying us. So I think the most primary important thing which will come to our head primarily is to eat and live a healthy life. And for that, food is very important. And apart from that, I also believe that food is one of those magic ingredients which can bind society. Because today also, after we all talk, we will go out and eat. So that's a magic factor which has the power to combine people. So when people cannot eat, it is really very bad.
Are you
when
saying-
people go hungry,
Are you saying there is no equivalent of the Jain societies, for example, that I pointed out, buildings in Mumbai, where they will only allow tenants who will conform to particular dietary habits?
No, there are some in Calcutta.
There are some in Calcutta as well?
Absolutely.
So there are restrictions. That's my point.
If you buy your own house, this goes back to the basic point. If you've bought your own house, you're entitled to what you eat inside it.
That's easier said than done.
No, in flats, some flats will
Look,
say that.
I don't think it's too
Societies, they say
hard to
that
be
you're vegetarian.
Yeah,
No,
I don't think
I'm
it's
just-
hard to be a vegetarian. If you follow the Brahma Kumaris, then you will be seeing that they believe that anything vegetarian has positivity in it, so they would like to promote that. But it's what you believe, right? Today, I have the choice to wear what I like. I have the choice to put on the color of say lipstick that I approve of, and go about my own way. When we can choose our career, when we can choose how to live, then I think the basic front from where we get all of those opinions is from what we eat, because that is the most primary area where we define who we will become.
In a state like this, with a large Muslim population, about 28% of the population in Bengal is Muslim, in states of the Northeast with large tribal populations, does food become a weapon to divide or unite? Is where I am coming from. Hindu versus Muslim is being pitted in other parts of the country on the basis of food at times. There is an attempt, some would say, to pit tribal versus non-tribal on the basis of food in some parts of the country. Do those divides exist in the eastern part of the country, or is this simply the one part of India which is resisting any attempt to homogenize food habits?
Pradyot?
You see, I think there was a conscious effort made to divide people on the basis of taste. BJP realized it's a big waste, simply for one reason. Their own ministers need to justify what they do at homes. And I think this way, the East, and even to a certain degree South, is largely protected. In fact, you know, the most refreshing thing I ever saw was in Maharashtra when Shiv Sena opposed BJP when they wanted to keep the entire week where no meat would be served because the poultry farmers and the traders would be affected, the meat sellers would be affected. So the idea of people trying to divide over food can probably be successful in a certain part of India. But in the East, it's a tried and failed experiment. I would still be happy if he did it again and again, because frankly, I think people are more concerned about other things like employment, like GST, like demonetization, like job creation, rather than what we have in our plates.
But look at what happened with GST. Why is it being called at the moment Gujarat service tax? Because just before the
Khakra.
Just before the Gujarat election, the Prime Minister has reduced GST on khakra. Now, you had a problem, Sudip, with the fact that lassi has 0% GST, but Mishti Doi has 5%.
Yeah, absolutely. I have
Why are you so upset that Mishti Doi has 5% GST?
And we debated this point over some time. And all the sweet shops in Calcutta, in Bengal, 2 lakh sweet shops are there in Bengal. It is a livelihood for how many people you can guess then. And they were closed for one day to protest.
Make it uniform.
No, so you want 0% GST on Mishti?
No, I was suggesting why not switch it around and we'll see whether other people are bothered either.
Rajdeep,
Which means what?
Make it
Which means
uniform.
5% on
Make
lassi
it
and 0 on
uniform.
sweets.
Yeah.
Make it uniform. have it the same in all places. If you put that to 5, we'll also agree to 5. You make that 0, agreed this to be 0. Make it uniform.
I thought Mishti had something special in it. That's why it was 5%. Lassi is an ordinary routine
Believe
milk.
me,
No,
before
Mishti,
the elections, they will make it 0% just before the elections.
I'll come to it. Lassi is a staple food of North India, and Chach is a staple food of Western India, and that's why I suppose it has been 0. And nobody cared for what is happening in this part of India.
No, now you're talking like Mamata Banerjee. Mamata Banerjee also came and said there is discrimination against Bengal.
Rasgulla and Mishti Doi is a staple food of all Bengalis, but in northern India you seldom have it, and that's why there is GST on it, but there is no GST on lassi or chach.
No, you want 0% on Mishti.
There was no VAT, neither sell tax, never on sweets. The CPM government levied no taxes on sweets, and neither the Trinamool government levied any GST.
You're saying sweets are a staple diet of Bengal?
On VAT, yeah. There's no VAT. Yeah.
Well, okay, hold on. Is that true?
Yeah, sweets. মুখ মিষ্টি করে যেতে হবে.
There are 20
That's very part of our being.
Its intrinsic part of your being is to have mishti.
Absolutely.
May I ask,
Are most Bengalis diabetic as a result or not?
Yeah, maybe,
Yes?
but not many.
No.
I think
that
diabetes
not
is
the
more
case.
genetic.
That is not the case.
what's the GST on Son
One
Papdi
by
and
one,
Sohan
yes.
Halwa?
Sorry?
What's the GST on Son Papdi and Sohan Halwa?
5% again, 5%.
No, so you're basically again claiming discrimination.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that there is no rationality to
Uniformity.
uniformity, there is no rationality.
Hold your mic. No, what?
Like the rest of them. You see, you're trying to start a debate, but we all agree. So,
No,
the point
I'm saying.
all I'm saying is, I
Yes,
agree
there's
with them.
discrimination. Let's put it that way.
Why no GST on lassi and why GST on sweet? The rationale is not clear. So if you have a very clear rationale on objective parameters, people might even agree with you. But give us the chance.
Okay, we just have 2 minutes, and I'm going to start with you there, ma'am, at the very end. If you had to choose your favorite Bengali dish to this audience, or anything from this part of the world, and I'm including stretching from Odisha here, right up to Arunachal on one side to Jharkhand on the other, the entire eastern belt, what is that one thing that you would like to eat, which you believe everyone must try once before one dish before you die? What's that one dish?
I think it has definitely got to be the Rasgulla, because I give my vote for the Rasgulla.
You vote for the Rasgulla. Yes,
Yeah.
Atri, go ahead.
The full thali and nothing less, because everything is so damn good you can't choose.
So you want a full Bengali thali, is it? Sudip.
Of course, I would say my sweets, but there are so many varieties I've made now. Baked Rasgulla, I will say. Baked Rasgulla.
Have you got insurance for all those who come to eat at your shop against diabetes?
Can I say something about that? Because
yes.
I'm just going to defend him madly now. I think you should know primarily what diabetes is totally about. It is about insulin the imbalance in insulin, and there could be many factors, not only sweets that triggers that. Stress is the most important factor.
But sweet can be a very important factor as well.
That might be the later factor which will it's the poison, but diabetes has nothing to do with Rasgulla or sweets in general.
Okay, so you can have as many Rasgullas as you want. Pradyot,
So I'll just give you an example.
the one dish that you've got to have before.
I'll eat something from my part of the world which is obviously laced with pork. But whatever I eat and whatever I don't eat should not be the determining factor in the year 2017 or year 2018. Today I am eating pork. I could be liked. Tomorrow if I eat, let's say, beef, I should not be disliked on my personal taste.
That's your political statement. I'm asking you, what is it that you want to eat? The
Well,
one dish that you want.
I will invite you for dinner and I will not tell the world what we're eating, and that'll be from the Northeast.
But what from the Northeast? Give the audience a sense. What's that one dish that they must eat from
Okay,
Tripura?
then if you like, you should try the Wahan Mozdeng. One of the best dishes that you can ever get. It's got no oil, lot of chilies, lot of pork, lot of onions. And believe me, once you have that, and once we give it to some people from Nagpur, they'll probably also change their view on what should be a diet.
Rakhi, what is that one dish?
There's so many, I don't know what one dish I would like to eat from.
But if someone were to, what is for you the highlight of a great Bengali meal? What's that one dish that you believe that the Bengalis make better than anyone else in the world?
Ilish.
Ilish.
Yeah. Ilsa.
And it's mouth-watering.
I know you've got an alien. No, she's also got, not only have you alienated half of Bengal, but you've also made us in the west coast of India feel that our pomfret is simply not good enough.
No, your pomfret's lovely. But chingri mach, but two things.
Yes.
There's this prawn and the ilish. And there are two sides. So one says the prawn is better and one says...
What is it, prawn or ilish? Chingra or ilish? Both. You see, because otherwise you'll end up alienating half of Bengal. You can't divide now Bengal between ilish and chingri mach.
Like I said, always inclusive.
That's right. So you can't divide Mohan Bagan East Bengal. You've got to have the best ilish for one part of Bengal and the best chingri mach for the other. Right? So that's the way to live it. And if you're in Tripura, make sure that you have the best pork possible. And you're even inviting Mohan Bhagwat, in a sense, to come to your house and perhaps try it once.
Prime Minister's come thrice. Maybe this time he needs to change his diet.
Okay, we'll try and see that. Or maybe you can also have a taste of a Gujarati thali. And which is the best way to be in India. This is the most diverse country when it comes to food. And I think what we've accepted on this program is that we need greater food diversity. And I'm glad to know, before the program started, I was told by Sudip he's starting a sweets museum here in Kolkata, where you will get a sense of all the great sweets of this land.
And its history.
How wonderful.
And its history.
Yeah.
So you'll have a food museum in Kolkata. Thank you all very much for joining us
Thank you.
and giving us a sense of your diverse palate. Thank you.